everyone, this is ESO Chad. So the long-awaited secret episode of Skibidi Toilet Multiverse has been released. And in this video, I'm going to conduct a full analysis of this episode, find all the secrets that were hidden in it, tell you about what kinds of predictions I was right about, as well as speculate about what we will see in the next episode. Who really controls Titan DRILLMAN, and what role does the Chief of DRILLMAN play? And what is his true form, and what will happen when he will be able to accept it? Get your tea and snacks ready, and prepare to watch this video to the end, because this video is going to be really interesting. Let's go. So back in the 14th episode, I suggested that Titan DRILLMAN might have a pilot who was hidden in this rescue shuttle, which left the Titan's body after Skibidi John fired a time blaster. But as we learn a little later from this episode, it is not entirely correct to call this guy a pilot, because in fact this body is controlled not by him, but by a separate consciousness. And we also learned an extremely important detail, that the name of the Titan DRILLMAN is Steve. And as I understood it, Steve's consciousness is in this flask, and its destruction will mean the destruction of the Titan himself. And the interesting thing is that the DRILLMAN who is in his body calls him the Spirit, and that gave me an idea. Perhaps the one whose consciousness now controls Titan was once the most ordinary DRILLMAN, perhaps even a friend of this pilot. However, as a result of certain circumstances, he was severely injured and his life could not be saved. But his consciousness was able to be pulled into this flask, after which a titanic body was built for him. Well, either it's a specially created artificial intelligence that was originally designed to control Titan, but it doesn't sound so cool. So I like this theory less. And now I want to talk a little bit about this DRILLMAN who is sitting in the cockpit of the Titan. In my previous video, I assumed that most likely this guy is the boss of the DRILLMAN because he looks like the boss of the Clockman. And in the end, I was right. And this is exactly their head. And apparently he is also an assistant and advisor to Titan DRILLMAN and is constantly next to him, which can also signal that the one whose consciousness now controls the Titan was once his friend. In the next scene, the first thing we see is two DRILLMAN dragging a wooden toilet somewhere. I have no idea where they got it from or why they even need it. He will not go into these details. Chief DRILLMAN asks his scientists a very curious question about true form transformation, or rather about whether it will work properly at the moment when it is needed. And I do not know why, but in response, these two friends decided to give my video a like. And I also would like to remind you to subscribe to my channel and give it a like if you're enjoying what I do. And now let's get back to this true form transformation. So, as I eventually found out, what is meant here is that Titan DRILLMAN in his new body actually has a very interesting additional function, namely transformation into this very true form. It is still completely unknown what it should look like and what new abilities this metal giant will receive, but it seems that if it comes to that, he will be practically invincible. And all this is a reference to the Tri-Titan from the Skibidi Wars universe, in which this Titan also had his so-called true form. And it turns out that we have come to a rather funny situation in which the Alliance has invented its ultimate weapon, and is most likely completely confident that if it is used, then they will win this war. And in their turn, Skibidi Toilets also brought to life their project called G-Man Apocalypse. And Professor Kleiner in the 33rd episode said that this is exactly what will allow the Skibidi Toilets to win this war. And now I can assume that in the nearest future, we will see a confrontation between these two superweapons, and the exact side with the victorious Mega Titan to rely on will be able to win in the end. Or everything can happen so that they destroy each other, and at this moment, when both the Alliance and the Skibidi Toilets are weakened significantly, the one who is now on the spaceship near the Earth, and the one who captured the mind of C-Pen will make his move. He will invade the Earth again, but this time with his army of aliens. But I took it way too far now, I think, so let's continue analyzing the secret episode. So having picked up the jar containing his friend inside, the Chief DRILLMAN climbed into the ball, which is essentially the brains of this Titan, after which this ball was lifted with the help of a huge magnet, and then inserted into the sitting body of the Titan. And these shots show that this ball was placed somewhere behind the back of the Titan. And thanks to this, we now know where the most vulnerable place of this metal giant can be found. But I generally understand why it is being located there, and not somewhere deep into the Titan instead. Most likely this was done so that there would be the possibility of evacuating the chief drillman along with his friend at the bank in case a situation like in the 14th episode happens. And in addition to that, the transformation of the Titan will make his body extremely unstable, which is why the chief drillman will need to leave it. And most likely that is why this ball is located in such a place. And let's hope that this vulnerability will not be the reason why Titan Drillman can be defeated in the future. Well, at the end of this scene, the chief utters the legendary phrase, "All right, let's drill some toilet." And the next scene takes place near the Clockman's base. And at the moment when the Drillman's base was destroyed by the Skibidi toilets led by the Alpha, and then how the Titan Drillman attacked the other Titans of the Alliance. Here we see how the chief tried to talk his friend out of attacking friends, realizing that the Alpha was manipulating them. But unfortunately, Steve did not understand this at the time, and in the heat of battle even wanted to use his true form. But the boss refused to help him with this. And as I understood it, Steve himself cannot make this transformation, and that's why this little guy is in this cabin. Not only to support and supervise the Titan, but also to press some buttons or do something else in the required time so that this giant could transform himself. And I don't know why this was done. Well, probably just for some security reasons. So that if the Titan loses his mind, which already happened in the 24th episode, by the way, he could not take his true form, and in a fit of rage destroy everything in his path, even including his own allies. So after the victory of Titan TV Man, a conversation took place between him and the chief, in which the chief mentioned that Titan TV Man needed to go on a secret mission, which most likely consisted in restoring Titan Clockman. Because in the secret scene of the same episode, the Titan took the clock from the Clockman's base and immediately after teleporting from the battle site. And it wasn't an emergency evacuation of those clocks, because the message that the Skibidi toilets ordered the destruction of this base came a little bit later. And also, all these scenes show that the boss turned out to be quite smart, and immediately realized that the Skibidi toilets had equipped the drill woman's cage with dynamite, which I also mentioned at the time. This scene also shows how the Clockmen found out that their base would soon be destroyed, and they did not intercept the TV Skibidi's signal as they were warned about it by the Drillman. I also want to draw your attention to the fact that everyone in the room bowed their heads to the Chief Drillman when he called. This suggests that he is highly respected by all the agents of the Alliance, which is so because of his wisdom and composure, I believe. And finally, we move on to the scene with Drill Woman and Professor Kleiner, in which we finally found out why the Skibidi toilets didn't turn off the Drill Woman's communication transmitter. They were intimidated by the chief, warning that if they turn it off, then Titan Drillman will destroy this base from the ground in case it will be revealed in any way that she is no more. And I do not really know why this affected them so much. Did the Skibidi toilets not take any measures to protect themselves from the underground invasion of Titan Drillman? But in any case, for whatever reason, this threat actually worked. And when the time came, Drill Woman sent a signal that the Alliance's agents led by the Drill Assassin entered the room. And this information allowed the Titan to get out of the ground in order to help the rest of the Titans in the battle with the Bald John. When the Titan came out once again, he started yelling in his own style. And I was amused by the Chief's reaction to this. Even considering that he is inside this Titan, he especially feels it. Just look at how this cabin is shaking in which this poor guy is sitting. By the way, in one of the frames, you can see something similar to the control panel, which has the inscription Sionis Industrial, which apparently is a small reference to the game called Batman Arkham, in which this company was featured in. And in the end, we will find out who advised us to wave at the incoming Titan. And it was also Chief Drillman. However, unfortunately, it turned out to be one of those tips that did not help, and Titan Speakerman flew into the Titan with the huge smack, and considering that he was not wearing seatbelts, I do not know why he was not just smeared across the cabin. And since this still did not happen, this poor guy warns the Titans that they are back on the side of the Alliance and that special agents are already trying to save Drill Woman. And that was all for today. Well, be sure that you are subscribed to my channel, and it was me, ISO Chad. See ya!